My name is Lillie, and 7 years ago, I went from eating what I thought was normal to flipping over the package, reading ingredients, and realizing I had no idea what half of them were. That's when everything changed. I then started prioritizing real food.
We are getting the goods.
Fueling my body with protein and slowly taking back control of my health. Since then, I've lost weight, cleared my skin, balanced my hormones, and stopped getting sick all the time. I asked you guys here on YouTube and Instagram for all of your questions, from cheating on my diet, we did have pizza with them, to the infamous donut. I really wasn't trying to break it. To having children.
This is a touchy subject, guys.
In today's video, I am answering all of the questions I've been avoiding. So let's get into it. Lots of questions like, do I ever miss pizza? Do I ever want to have bread? Do I ever want to go out to a restaurant and just have some linguine? Yes and no. I don't ever have cravings for food. I'm not like thinking about like, oh, I would love to eat hot Cheetos or have a Snickers bar. But when I visit my family, now I don't see my family very often. I see them usually one time a year. So when I do that, or when we go on vacation, it's just easier sometimes to go with the flow, make a memory, and enjoy time with one another. Now granted, some of y'all see your family all the time. Every weekend there's a celebration, a baby shower, a football game, grandma's coming over, and there's so many reasons to celebrate and indulge. In my case, like I said, I'm seeing people one time a year. And so to give an example, in November 2024, we visited my family and they made homemade fermented sourdough bread. I got to watch all of the ingredients go inside, watch the fermentation process, and know what kind of bread it was. Same thing, they made homemade pizza. Now originally they had asked, hey, if we do a pizza night, are you and Bryce going to eat it? And I was like, nope, because I thought they were going to order like, Pizza Hut or Domino's or something. And they were like, heck no, Lillie, we're making this pizza. And they told me all of the ingredients. I watched the whole process of what went inside. No, they don't use seed oils and high fructose corn syrup and artificial food dyes. And so we did have pizza with them. I don't have the patience, the time, the will, or the desire to make a good sourdough bread at my house or a pizza. No, I'm not going to eat Wonder Bread or like a Little Caesars pizza. So, there are some standards as to what I would want to eat. But I also just don't find certain foods like tasty anymore. Like I can imagine a Reese's peanut butter cup kind of tastes like chemicals. I eat so many gosh darn good foods. I am totally set. I love all of my meals, and I don't just say that for like the video or for you guys to like be inspired to eat healthy, which you should, okay? But I do really love all of my meals. They make me smile. I'm excited to eat them. I enjoy every bite. Whenever we have friends or family over, they are like, wow, no wonder why you guys don't go out to eat. You guys make some really gosh darn good food. So that's probably why I don't desire other foods, is because yes, a donut tastes good, but I have really good tasting food in my house that also comes with nutrition and health benefits and makes me feel good. There's no consequences, so it's like, no brainer. What do I think of protein shakes? Well, I think a lot of people are low in protein, and I think a lot of people are eating like cereals and waffles and bagels and danishes and things like this for breakfast. So having a protein shake is a way better step in a good direction. But at the same time, protein shakes are lower in nutrition in comparison to things like just having a whole egg or having some beef or having some salmon. So from a nutrition aspect, I would choose like whole foods versus a protein powder. But for convenience, I think that for people who need a meal on the go, for people who need some extra protein, then protein shakes can be great. My husband has protein powder every day. He's been doing it for years and he loves it because he likes the taste of it. I get tons of protein in my diet from the foods I already eat that it doesn't make sense for me to add a scoop of protein powder, because then my protein's like super high. The protein powder we like is called Equip. I do have a discount code with them and I'll link it in the description. Several questions on how to gently encourage and inspire loved ones and partners to be healthier and care more about nutrition. Now, for me, when I first met my husband, I was the unhealthy one. Now, granted, I didn't think I was doing that bad of a job back then. My coworkers were having Taco Bell and fast food for lunch, and I always packed a lunch. It was just a peanut butter jelly sandwich with some pretzels. I say this because most people don't think that they're eating that unhealthy. Most people are like, I'm doing a pretty good job. Now, when I met Bryce, I was 22 years old and he was 31. And so I really looked up to him. I thought he was very wise. And at a younger age, I was still more curious and open to change and ask questions. Whereas I find that most people, as they age, they become more set in their ways and they don't want to hear it. And so that's also something to keep in mind. But in general, my best piece of advice would be, firstly, I wouldn't say, let's go on this particular diet, low carb diet, vegan diet, carnivore diet. If you told me I had to go on a diet, I would have put my fingers in my ears. Instead, I was eating noodles and Bryce was like, hey, look at these egg noodles. They've got more protein and they should be easier to digest. Or instead of my tortilla, look at this cheese folio wrap. It is so tasty and it also doesn't make me feel as bloated. So finding a swap for the thing that the person loves and then just showing them how it's like even better than the thing that they were having. But the main thing that I'd be doing is on a good day. So not when they had stress at work or a bad day, but on a more neutral or happy day when they're not expecting it, I would either sit down with them or write a letter speaking from the heart. I'd really try to think, what would Jesus say to this person in this moment? How would he touch their soul, wake them up, give them love, not judge them, not ridicule them, not make them feel bad, but make them feel inspired to realize how precious their life is. And so therefore I'd say to them, honey, you make me so happy. And I want to create so many more memories with you and spend so much more time loving on each other. And I feel like these years, they're just going by so quickly. And I fear that we're just going to blink our eyes and one day it'll be over. And therefore I want to hike, travel, spend more time with our family, do more adventures, create more memories. And I'm nervous that if we don't take care of our health more, then we're not going to be able to do that as much. And I fear losing my memory, getting Alzheimer's, needing help standing up out of my chair because I don't have the strength to do it on my own. I don't want to be on several medications. I don't want to be in and out of hospitals, in a nursing home. I don't want to lose my autonomy. I want independence. I want to be strong. And I hope that you want to do that with me as well. Because again, I really just want to live this life with you, but abundantly. I think many people think more short term. Right now, I want a pizza versus long term when I'm 80. What does my life look like? And therefore, when we can really put inside of people's minds like, hey honey, where do you envision our life when we're 80? What do you think we're gonna be doing? When we stop and just reflect on like, am I on a good trajectory? Am I doing the things to like achieve a vibrant life? If people had more time to slow down, become more present, more conscious, I think that they would make better choices. So again, just speaking from that place of love and speaking to them in the way that you would want to be spoken to if you were in their shoes. And the cherry on top was my husband demonstrated that he could be so happy and joyful eating eggs and avocado and bacon and steak. He didn't need to have pizza and cake and ice cream and get drunk all the time to have a joyful, abundant life. And so, of course, if you could lead by example, showing like, oh, yes, this steak is great, then people start getting jealous and they're like, hey, I want some of that. What are some healthy additions or changes that no matter how small of a step you make, it will make a difference? Well, I'm gonna say going to bed 30 minutes earlier. What's funny is I asked my husband the same question without telling him my answer, and he said the exact same thing. I think it's because sleep is free, it's totally doable, and I have so many clients who they're going to bed at 12, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And I'm like, what are you doing? You gotta go to bed. They say that they're doom scrolling, watching Netflix, they're cleaning their house. And I'm like, okay, those things will be here tomorrow. Your body will thank you if you get a little bit extra sleep, and that will compound over the weeks, over the months, over the years. One of the most popular questions I got was, where did I get certified as a health coach and which programs would I recommend? Now, just to start, the reason why I was inspired to become a health coach initially is because, you guys, I am pretty disheartened when I go through the grocery store and I see the food that people have access to and what's going in their grocery carts, and knowing my family and friends who are struggling with infertility, unable to have a kid, they're having different diseases and autoimmune conditions. And it's just, I used to be one of those people too who was struggling with my health, and I didn't see and make the connection between food and how it was impacting my life. And so I wanted to be a nutrition coach to help other people feel the way that I feel every day, which is vibrant and hopeful and feeling unstoppable. And it's one of the greatest gifts to be able to give health to people. So anyway, I have done several different health coaching programs and certifications, and some are just very basic, kind of dry and boring and not very useful. And some of them are just, they were a waste of my time and money. So the one that I recommend is through ISSA, the International Sports Science Association, who is one of our video sponsors. Through them, you can become not only a certified nutritionist, but even a personal trainer or a health and transformation coach. As an ISSA nutritionist, you'll learn not just about food, but also food habits, which I think is, very important, because through that you're able to make smarter recommendations and choices for your clients to help them reach their goals faster. What I found most valuable and helpful was how to create a coaching business, how to create a client base, how to ask questions. They even had this one section where it's a whole client intake form with lots of different questions. So that way you can get a better idea of who this person is, what their situation is, and how to then best serve them. The entire course is 100% online. It's self-paced, which worked really well for me. I was able to study from my laptop. You can also do it from your iPads or tablets. After each module, there's a quiz, and then at the very end, there's a final exam. So if you are someone who's interested in becoming a certified nutritionist or a health coach, ISSA did give me a discount code, so you can get $100 off your certificate with discount code Lillie Kane, or go to the link joinissa.com/Lillie Kane. I'll link that in the description as well. Is the donut real or fake? You guys, I bought this donut back in November 2023. I bought it for $1. I wanted to use it for this weight loss video. I just shoved the fork in it and used it for the video. And after I finished filming with it, I was like, okay, well, let me just put it in the freezer just in case I want to use it for one other video. Well, 20 videos later, this donut has still been around. Now this thing is hard as a brick. I really wasn't trying to break it. I think I'm gonna glue it back together. Yeah, so I am here holding it together. I wanted to demonstrate it a little bit better with the fork, but oops, I broke it. I'm telling you, this donut is my good luck charm. Anytime I post a video with this donut in it, the video does great. Even though I paid $1 for this donut has made me thousands of dollars in return. So usually I discourage people from investing in donuts, but in this case, I love this donut. What kind of beverages do you consume besides water? Now, this might seem boring, but I've been a water lily all of my life. I was always nervous as a kid to drink soda, thinking it would rot my teeth. I've never liked the taste of coffee, of tea, of beer, of alcohol, of kefir. And so that just leaves me left with energy drinks, which I feel like I have too much energy as is, that I'm nervous it would give me the hibbity-hobbities and the jitters. And I do like milk, but for me, where I live, it's just really expensive for me to buy the raw kind of milk. And so I usually just drink water, and I'll put electrolytes in my water for some extra flavor and fun. I'm gonna lump a bunch of questions together through a story. How did Bryce and I meet? Well, when I was in Minnesota, I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and once I graduated college, I didn't want to move back to California, but I still wanted to go somewhere warm and sunny, so I transferred with Enterprise Rent-A-Car to Maui, and that's where I worked under Bryce. Bryce was my boss at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, which that only lasted for so long before, had to get another job. Then I ended up working in the resorts and hotels in Hawaii while also getting my real estate license. Then once the pandemic happened, I was Bryce's real estate agent and we sold our condo there. Initially, we moved to Missouri so that way Bryce could finish up a doctorate program. But then what ended up happening is, thanks to all of you guys, your help and support with the channel, I started the YouTube channel and I ended up getting so busy with writing newsletters, Facebook posts, Instagram stories, TikToks, making YouTube videos that I needed help and wanted to either hire a filmer or editor. And so we saw the opportunity where we're like, Bryce, actually pause that, come and join the team. And so now it's just Bryce and I working on all of the social media content. So for the person who asked if Bryce and I ever get bored or tired of working with one another, we have worked together with Enterprise, with real estate. We had a bookkeeping business at one point. Now we've got this going on and we just love working together since day one. Bryce's full-time job is creating the social media content for this channel. He does the majority of editing for all of the short form and long form YouTube videos. And then people are usually surprised when they get an email response. It is from me. If you get a comment back, it's from me. If you see the newsletter, I am writing those things. So literally all of the content you see, there is no like behind the scenes other person. It's just Bryce and I. And so if you don't like anything, it wasn't us, okay? What's your coping mechanism for anxiety, and have you found a solution to your scalp? And I'm lumping these two together because I made a full video covering this topic of ways that I have found to reduce stress and anxiety, and then how as a result, this really impacted my scalp in a positive way. And it's pretty miraculous. And if you missed the video, I will link that in the description. Would you rather have optimized nutrition, but not the best sleep, or have perfect sleep, but nutrition being a hit or miss? I would absolutely choose sleep. And I also asked Bryce the question, and he said no brainer, sleep. Wow. A lot of you guys have the question of babies on your mind. And so we're going to spend quite a good chunk of the video talking about babies. This is where our babies will be made, on our birch mattress that is very comfortable, it's breathable, it's used from organic natural materials, and today's video is sponsored by Birch Mattress. You want a comfortable experience making a baby? It's a Birch mattress. We actually bought this bed prior to Birch ever being a sponsor on this channel. Bryce and I just did a ton of research trying to find what's the best quality beds, comfortable beds, and we wanted a bed that was not having fiberglass, that used organic cotton, organic wool, natural materials that we would find out in nature, since we spend a third of our life in our bed, sleeping and making babies. So after weeks of comparing prices, quality, comfortability, we landed on a Birch Luxe mattress. And I was thrilled when they reached out to sponsor videos, because I already tell my friends and families to get a Birch mattress. I think we're gonna get another one for the extra guest bedroom. It is just really high quality, it's comfortable, and it makes me sleep like a baby. Like we talked about earlier, I do think sleep is, if I had to pick between sleep and food, I'm picking sleep. And therefore, to me, while I prioritize buying good quality food, I also want to prioritize buying a good quality bed that doesn't have any polyurethane foams that can cause harmful off-gassing or any fiberglass materials. And so if you're looking for a healthy bed, a comfortable bed, a breathable bed, then use discount code BirchPartner27. For the month of July, they're offering 27% off your order. They also have organic cotton sheets, pillowcases, really comfortable pillows. We are full-blown Birch lovers in this house, and we hope you enjoy them as much as we do. Again, go to the link in the video description or the URL birchliving.com/Lillie to get that 27% off. So I posted a video a couple years ago talking about how all of my life I never wanted kids, but I also never wanted to get married, because growing up as a kid, everyone I knew had divorce, whether it was my grandparents, my parents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, best friends, the kids at my school. The majority of people I knew when I was a kid had divorce in their life. And so I thought, why would I ever get married if it ends in divorce? But then I met Bryce and I was like, well, I gotta marry this guy. And it was the best, most amazing thing to ever happen to me and my life. It has brought me so much love, so much family, so much goodness. And through my relationship with Bryce, I have learned that similarly, when you can have more people in your life, you can have more love. And so he has inspired me to change my ideas and thinking about babies. I never wanted kids because I thought they're a lot of time, a lot of money, they will hurt my body, and they are a lot of responsibility, which all of those things are still likely true, but at least you get a nice gift at the end of it, a lot of love and more family. Probably one of the reasons why I have never been really attracted to having kids is because as a kid, my life was so chaotic and I just never knew what was gonna happen, that now I really value structure, organization, knowing what's going to happen, and that doesn't, babies and that doesn't really line up very well. But the challenging things in life make you stronger, so there's that. Now, last year in 2024, I really tried to envision my life as like a mom and picturing, okay, if I'm at the grocery store right now, what does that look like? Or if I'm going to sleep right now, like, what does that mean? And I really started becoming more grateful and having more gratitude for just the moments without kids, having more peace, more structure, more ability to sleep through the night, and just really valuing the moment now, which has been a good sign. But also come the beginning of this year in January 2025, I told everyone our New Year's resolution is come the end of the year, November, December-ish, that we would start trying. And I kept saying it over and over again. I made an Instagram post about it, told my friends, told my family, told Bryce like 100 times. And every time I told Bryce this, he would always say no. Now that was very shocking to me and very surprising because the man has always wanted kids. When this year happened and I just kept saying like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna make it happen, I didn't realize why he kept saying no, and we're not going to, and we're not having a kid. I was just like, wait, what? Well, after a lot of conversation, I have come to learn that the reason why Bryce has been so like, no, is because of the way that I speak about and talk about babies, where I kind of talk about it as like another thing on my to-do list and not something that I genuinely just like really want to do. Now, the reason why I wanted to do it this year is because I think I'm more of a logical thinker. Bryce is 38, I'm turning 29 July 25th, and I'm like, okay, if I have a baby, I'll be like 30, and I just feel like I'm not getting any younger. Now, do I want to have a kid right now? Honestly, not really, because I just feel like I really love my life. I really love everything we got going on. I know once we have a kid, I'll be like, no, oh my gosh, I can't believe how silly you were, Lillie. Huh? Don't be silly, subscribe to Lillie. But I feel like once I do have a kid, of course, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I waited. I can't believe this little person wasn't in my life for longer. I should have started younger, and I'm sure those will be all of the things that happen. But right now, I'm just like, gosh, that seems just like a lot. I'm gonna try not to get emotional up in here, but I think that I feel like having kids is one of the most human things you can do. It's one of the like highest forms of expressing God, literally creating life. How incredible. But it just seems the whole process, honestly, being pregnant, giving birth, having a baby, the whole thing just honestly freaks me out a little bit, like scares me. And I'm,
This is a touchy subject, guys.
I just feel like, in a way, I feel like there's something wrong with me because I've always been so jealous and envious of women who know, like, I've always wanted to be a mom or I've always wanted to have kids, and that just like not be the way that I feel about it makes me feel like there must be like something, you know, a little bit off with me. And that's kind of how I think about the whole babies topic. It's gonna be a blessing, it's gonna be amazing, and I'm gonna be a great mom, but just like getting there is, people say you'll never be ready and that you can't just like try to figure out all the answers ahead of time. So that's why I'm like, let's just jump into it and rip it off like a band-aid. But I also know that just me saying that is not the most supportive thing to say to Bryce. Like, that probably is not what Bryce wants to hear. He wants to hear like, I am so excited. And I mean, I will be, I'm sure, once it happens, but right now, I'm just not there. I feel like this is becoming way more dramatic than it really needs to be, because if I have a kid who watches this video one day and goes, Mom, you didn't want to have me, I'll be like, well, back then, no, but now I am so grateful, so happy, and couldn't be more fulfilled. So I do think all of that will be a reality. It's just not happening right now. Maybe next year. What are your thoughts on tanning beds? I've never used them, and I would rather lay out in the sun. Safe amounts of sun, benefits versus harm. I think that there are overall so many benefits to getting sun exposure for depression, sleep, and just overall vitamin D being so important for our immune system. That said, I think if I were laying out in the sun turning red like a tomato and then my skin was peeling, then I don't think that's likely very healthy. So I personally lay out in the sun for about 15 minutes on each side any day that I have the chance and it's sunny. Usually I don't wear sunscreen when I do that, but if I'm out in the sun for long periods of time at the beach or something, then I will wear Clara and Fritz's really clean sunscreen, and I'll link their product in the description. Do you think more fat for hormones or more carbs? I think it depends on the person. For example, the majority of people in the developed world are eating a standard American diet. They're eating tons of carbs, that therefore having more carbs is likely not going to help their hormones. So therefore I would taper back on some of the carbs and incorporate more healthy fats. That said, for the small percentage of people who are eating a zero carb diet, they're having tons of fat. If their hormones aren't doing great, then I would experiment with having a little bit more carbs to see if that helps with hormones. So kind of depends on where you're starting from. Is your husband the chill one in the relationship, or does he jump off the walls with you as well? The only time Bryce is jumping off the walls is when I'm hiding in the closet and jump out to scare him. True story. Yes, Bryce is the chill one. Do I track my calories? No, but I also eat very similarly each day, and so I only had to track my food once to make sure that I'm eating enough, I'm getting enough protein, I'm getting all the vitamins and minerals my body needs, so I don't have to track my food. What are my thoughts on fermented foods? They're supposed to be great for gut health. That said, for me personally, I don't like the taste of sauerkraut, of kimchi, of kefir. They're all too sour for me, and so I don't have them. Meanwhile, my husband loves the taste. He would love to incorporate them, and every year or so he will buy like a thing of sauerkraut and try it, but he ends up finding that his digestion's worse, his skin gets flaky and itchy, and his brain's a little foggy. So what ends up happening is I have to then, go through the whole container of sauerkraut because we hate wasting food. So it's supposed to be good for gut health, but of course, some people experience negatives. Questions about my exercise regimen, especially in relationship to the amount of food I consume. Now, I actually used to eat the same amount of food and only go to the gym 4 days a week and do strength training. But only as of recently, the past 3 months, we have been going to work out 7 days a week because we're actually incorporating cardio for heart health. And I did a whole video covering the heart health and why and the markers and the improvements we have seen. But essentially, I sit all day long. Like, I think you guys think I'm standing right now, but usually I'm sitting. So we will take a 20-ish minute walk after lunch and 20-ish minute walk after dinner to help with digestion, just to get some more movement in, to help with our sleep, to help with our mood, and just to get some outdoors and nature. Then we go to the gym 6 days a week. 4 days of the week we do strength training for an hour. 2 days of the week we will do stair stepper plus treadmill combo for an hour. And then 1 day of the week we have not been going to the gym, but we will go to the track for a sprint workout, which takes us about an hour. Even though we're not like sprinting a whole hour, we're doing a warm up, a cool down, stretching and things like that. But all in all, we do about an hour of exercise a day, plus about 40 minutes of walking, and about 15 hours of sitting and 8 hours of laying, sleeping. So in the grand scheme of things, I feel like we could even do more movement, but we're happy with what we do. Lots of questions on what do I eat in a day? How do I know how much meat to eat? What supplements do I take? Why no rice and potatoes? And I made a full video explaining exactly how I figure out what to eat and how I created my own personal meal plan, but more importantly, how you can create your own meal plan and have more confidence to know what foods to eat, what kinds of foods, how much food, and therefore I'll leave that video right here and in the video description. I hope you guys have a happy day, and I'll see you soon.